Our purpose. We fight against sex trafficking in Canada and in our world. And at this time, that includes the Philippines. Our vision. Fight for Freedom is a faith-based charity that seeks to provide a path of freedom and restoration to individuals and communities impacted by sex trafficking, the sex industry, and sexual exploitation. Our mission. We fight for freedom with our 4 arms: awareness raising, reaching out to survivors, fostering meaningful partnerships, and providing survivor care. We act justly, show mercy, and walk humbly with our God. Micah 6:8. My name is Jessica Ortiz, and I'm the International Associate Director of Fight for Freedom. The awareness and training looks like raising awareness about the issues of sex trafficking and exploitation in our communities. And so we go into churches or political circles, schools, wherever they may have us to help empower and educate and train people to be able to spot the signs of sex trafficking and to know how to deal with it.
My name is Felicia Fishoff, and I am the co-founder of Fight for Freedom. I remember our first outreach that we've ever done for Fight for Freedom. And I remember that I was on the bus and I was just really reflecting on our experience. And one of the thoughts that I had was, wow, God's light shines brightest in the darkest places.
My name is Charlene, and I'm the founder of Clothed with Love.
My name is Rody Bello. I'm an artist and the co-owner of Mainstream Bakehouse.
Meaningful partnerships with Fight for Freedom means collaborating to support their initiatives and what they are doing and to support their survivors as well.
My name is Lara, and I am a case manager for Fight for Freedom.
My name is Quincy, and I'm an advocate in the survivor care with Fight for Freedom.
Survivor care looks like engaging strong rehabilitation strategies to help those leaving sexual trafficking situations, including furthering job skills, helping look for housing.
It's also reaching out to people who just needs the support, all the survivors, and even people who maybe may feel like they're alone and just they have a place they can go to that is safe.
My most memorable training was at Uxbridge Baptist Church. It was for a youth group, and I found that they were just so keen on trying to learn about what does sex trafficking look like, and they're even kind of shocked that it happens. And some even came away thinking that, maybe a friend of mine is being trafficked at this time. And so they wanted to reach out and figure out how they can help them.
I remember there was one time when one of the survivors or one of the workers at the club came up to us and she gave me the biggest hug. She's like, "It is so nice to know that someone remembers us." And that has been at, I guess, the foundation of outreach for myself, that I want them to know that they're remembered and that they're not alone. And for those that need our help, we are here for them to even just bring a smile to their face.
What comes to mind is the event that happened at St. Island Pies, where we was hosted Talent for Freedom. And I came in second place in that event. The people there were great. The food, obviously, was great. And overall, it was for a good cause.
When I get up to facilitate a presentation on sex trafficking, if I'm talking to youth, I'm struck by the significance of the information that I'm sharing with them and how it directly affects them. Also, if I'm talking to adults, I'm struck by how important this information is for them to share with their nieces and nephews, brothers, sisters. No one is exempt from possibly being affected by sex trafficking in their personal lives.
My hopes for the awareness and training arm of Fight for Freedom is to be able to continue to educate, empower, and equip people to feel like they can spot the signs of sex trafficking and know how to deal with it, and that they know who to reach out to, like Fight for Freedom, right? I know that it's such a dark subject, but the more we spread light into it, the more we can fight against it. So knowledge is power, right? The other thing that we're doing is developing a HT 102 curriculum, which will be able to provide more in-depth information about human trafficking and provide scenario-based trainings where people can really problem solve through specific types of scenarios and know that there are different nuances on how to deal with an individual who may be trafficked.
My hopes for this particular arm would be that we would continue to develop more presentations to serve our communities, to continue to have opportunities to talk about sex trafficking and how it affects our neighborhoods, our country, our towns. I would love to see staff come on board that are passionate specifically about education around sex trafficking and who can take this arm even further than it already is right now. And my hope is that the education that we do provide would continue to impact and bless the communities, the schools, the neighborhoods that we're invited into to share this information to help protect our young people.
My hopes for the meaningful partnership arm for Fight for Freedom is that we'll continue to partner in this industry in helping survivors see their freedom and invoking hope and love as we partner together and serving them in what we're doing.
My hopes is that God continue to bless and continue to move forward the work of Fight for Freedom in all 4 areas, because His light is shedding on everywhere. You could see that God is working in all areas, and they're all vital to showing that with God we can conquer this darkness.
The world needs us, and if we're afraid to go into those places, then who's gonna go? And I'm a firm believer that if Jesus was walking in the flesh on this earth, you better believe it, He would be in places that we're sometimes afraid to go. And so I hope it never dies, because that is truly the heart of Jesus, being willing to go to places where others are afraid to go.
So this painting is about protection of the innocent and what is part of Fight for Freedom as far as what they represent. Here you have a mother, kind of a nurturing mother type figure in the form of an angel, and a child which represents innocence. Also, the presence of God is in here, but not in a physical form. I painted a cross in the background to represent that as well, overseeing what's happening here. So it's basically a painting of protection of the innocents. I fight for freedom to help those who can't fight. I use my art to help those to be inspired by it.
I fight for freedom because coming from a background where I grew up in a hostile environment, I grew up in a home that was quite dysfunctional, and there was a lot of violence and a lot of pain. Specifically, there was domestic abuse. And so witnessing that as a child really made me feel like, at that time I couldn't help my mom. But now that I'm older and now that I have a voice, I can at least use my voice to help somebody else.
I fight for freedom because I want to see those who are in bondage or in this type of situation become free, to know who they are, and to live the life that God has created them to live.
I fight for freedom because I feel called to bring hope and help to those who are oppressed, to those who are struggling day to day, those who need support and love and care.
I fight for freedom because that's what we're meant to do. That's what I'm meant to do, right? Freedom looks different for everyone, but I am called to bring light, to bring freedom to who God puts in my path. And for myself, Survivors has definitely been a group of amazing yet vulnerable population that needs love, that needs compassion, empathy, the love of Christ. And so that's what it means to me.
I fight for freedom because this is the love that God has poured out in my heart to speak up. We have freedom through Jesus, and I feel that everyone should experience it. It's beautiful, and nothing can keep you down.
How has survivor care impacted my life? When I came to Fight for Freedom, I wasn't myself. I was a broken, hollow, empty version of the light that once shone in me. How I got to Fight for Freedom is a story for another day. But it's what happened when I got there that was life-changing. I can truly say, if it wasn't for Fight for Freedom, I do not know where I would be. Honestly and truly. There's something special about Fight for Freedom that is truly spectacular. Everyone here are truly angels in physical form. I'll never forget my first call. I was terrified. I was terrified because of the things I had seen and experienced, and terrified because I didn't know my future or what lies ahead. But it was that first call with caring, soft-spoken people who weren't judging me, looking down on me, but from the first call providing me with care, understanding, and resources that helped put me on track. It's been a few years, and my whole life has changed. Tears as I write this. My whole life has changed. I'm no longer that broken, dimmed, sad version of myself, but stand today as a woman, a survivor, a thriver, a victor who has overcome her past circumstances to be empowered, strong, and a light not only for myself, but for my family and others. I truly could not have done it without Fight for Freedom. I pray that Fight for Freedom continues to get the support it needs to give hope and courage to survivors just like me. Thank you.